Who's the worst famous person you've ever had to interact with?
James Corden was once called one of the nicest guys in entertainment, but that might not be the case where now he's the new Ellen DeGeneres. This comes as Balthazar's owner, Keith McNulty, banned James Corden from his restaurant, saying he was one of the worst customers ever. And how this happened was James Corden was eating at Balthazar's where he complained there was a hair in his food. Both the waiter and the owner thought was bizarre because James Corden ate his entire main course before complaining. And then after complaining, Corden demanded a round of drinks for the table as well as all of their drinks being comped. And he said they better do it or else he'll give the restaurant a bad Yelp review or tweet a photo of the hair. Then there was another incident where James Corden was eating there with his wife for breakfast and his wife ordered an egg yolk omelet. Then James Corden freaked out on the waiter when he saw a small piece of egg white in the omelet. So they brought it again, but this time brought out home fried potatoes instead of a salad, and James Corden lost it, screaming at the waiter, telling him multiple times he had no idea what he was doing, and then demanded free champagne. And James Corden is getting a lot of free stuff for a man worth $70 million. Now many people are calling James Corden the new Ellen DeGeneres, whose career was ruined for being very nice to celebrities but very rude to her staff. And the owner unbanned Corden after he apologized, but it shows another side of his personality. And with that, I'm Charles Perallo.
So, here's my James Corden story. It was not from when I was waiting on him. This was actually when I lived in Los Feliz, which is like a super hip part of Los Angeles. There's a restaurant called Little Dom's. Little Dom's is super famous. Lots of celebrities go there all the time. Now, I was walking down the street, going to a happy hour with a girlfriend, and we walked by Little Dom's, and lo and behold, who walks out of the restaurant? None other than James Corden. And I'm like, oh my God, celebrity sighting. I've got it in my head. As I'm approaching, I hear James Corden yelling at this busboy. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So being the nosy little Nancy I am, I obviously beelined straight for them down the street. And I overhear the busboy telling James Corden that Little Dom's is closed right now. It's closed right now. They close in the middle of the day, between lunch and dinner. And he's telling James Corden that he can get him a reservation, right when they open. He was trying to be really accommodating. And James Corden yells at this busboy, "A lot of good that does me, mate. A lot of good that does me." And so I just kept on going. Made it to my happy hour just fine. No incidents there. But now every time my friends and I are frustrated with something, we do shout out, "A lot of good that does me, mate. A lot of good that does me." So feel free to use that one. And I don't think James Corden is sorry. Because if he was really sorry, he would have apologized to the server and not the owner of the restaurant. Okay, bye.
Now, I'm sure everyone has heard about James Corden getting banned from Balthazar restaurant in New York the other day. Well, he did apologise to the owner and has been effectively unbanned from his restaurants. However, he's just done his first public statement about the incident, and what he has to say will shock you. Speaking about the fallout in an interview with the New York Times, James Corden has just said that he didn't think he did anything wrong. That's right, he said the whole thing was beneath everyone and that he didn't think what he did was actually that bad. Like, you were rude to people, surely that's bad enough. When the New York Times were worried that he was going to cancel the interview they had scheduled with him because of all the backlash he'd had, he said that he hasn't done anything wrong, so why would he cancel it? He said, and I quote, "I was there, I get it, I am so zen about the whole thing. I just think it's beneath all of us, it's beneath you, and it's beneath this publication for bringing it up." He added that he was considering addressing it on the Late Late Show, but he hadn't read anything that the owner hadn't already said.
Half an hour into a New York to London flight, passengers in business class noticed a woman with a crying baby being brought through the curtains by a flight attendant. They looked on in mild horror as they saw the attendant directed to an empty seat next to James Corden. Expecting a huge celebrity hissy fit to kick off, Corden's cabin mates were impressed to see that he didn't say a word, he didn't make any sort of complaint. He simply put on a pair of noise-cancelling headphones, pulled an eye mask over his eyes, turned away from the woman and went to sleep.
Fair enough.
Pretty decent, they say. When the plane landed, passengers were surprised to see Corden remain seated as the woman with the baby struggled to open the overhead locker. And even more surprised when she turned to Corden and said, "For F's sake, can you at least hold the baby while I get the bags down?" The woman was his wife and the baby was his baby.
Boom!
Boom!
A couple days ago, Keith McNally, a New York City restaurant owner, he owns places like Balthazar and Pastis, several other spots, put up an Instagram post saying that James Corden was an absolute asshole to his entire waitstaff, complaining about a hair in his food only after he ate the whole thing, complaining that he found egg whites in his egg yolk omelet, and was just a general dickhead to anybody within earshot. Well, Keith has followed up with another Instagram post saying that James Corden personally called him and apologized profusely, and that Keith accepts his apology. The internet, however, well, that shit's too late. Everybody's running with this, posting their stories of how big of a dickhead James Corden was to them, including stories of when he was an asshole to a woman and a baby on the plane. Spoiler alert, it was his wife and his own baby. The time that he was an asshole to everybody at brunch with Harry Styles, where he was described as a boozy panda. And my personal favorite, when he threw his wallet at a woman and said, "That's worth more than this entire store." What a fat asshole that guy is, huh? You think you know a guy. The funny guy who sings in the car. Nope, total dickhead, because don't get it twisted, this is the litmus test. Some people say if you put your shopping cart back, that's the sign of a good person. No, fuck that. The real litmus test, you take someone out to dinner and you see how they treat the waiters. If you're a jerk to them, you're a fucking asshole. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a new host of the Late Late Show pretty soon. This guy's gonna go the way of Ellen.
James Corden was rude to me cause I only cared about T Swift when interviewing him.
Carpool karaoke.
I don't know, soon I hope.
Did you guys talk about that at all?
We're always talking to everyone about it.
Okay.
Hit a little boogie with it. Oh, what's that, the SpongeBob? Huh? Oh, James Corden's being an asshole? Oh, you don't say. Weird. It's almost like I knew it from the get-go. Whoa, now hit him with the jerk.
Name 2 of the cameramen in this room.
That is a great question. It's a different crew tonight, actually.
Yeah, okay. The world got to see James Corden as a fat pussy. He was also in the movie Cats, but no one saw that. And the reviews, oh, shocking. I saw one that said, "This is the worst thing to happen to cats since dogs," right?
So James Corden is a family-friendly comedian, but a lot of people say he's not so friendly behind the scenes. He did a Q&A on Reddit, but pretty much all of the questions he got were people just commenting on their bad experiences with him. Like this one where someone says that James was yelling at the workers at a restaurant, and this one where someone posted a tweet saying that James was advocating for less pay for new television writers. And he's apparently told VIP fans to go away when they asked for pictures on set.